Hello and welcome to this presentation from Pluralsight. In this module we're going to run through and see how we can use the package sysstat to get better monitoring data back from our Linux system. We're going to be looking in particular at the objective to produce and deliver reports on our system, and that's going to be based on memory, processor, network, outages, user requests, etc. Quite a long-winded objective there, but that's what we're going to be looking at in this module. And we're going to do this, of course, through demonstrations to make sure you get some really good understanding of how you're going to do this on your own CentOS 7 systems. So we're going to be looking at installing the sysstat package and viewing the initial configuration. We'll be looking at some of those additional tools that come with the sysstat package. So the things we'll be looking at there, we've already seen that the procps package has vmstat, but we have similar tools. IOstat, MPstat, etc. And we'll be playing around with some of those additional tools before we move on to the reporting tool SAR. So we're going to be able to create reports that have collected data over a period of time using SAR. To begin with though, we're going to look at installing sysstat and the initial configuration. So let's move directly onto our CentOS 7 system. Now we're going to gain some administrative rights here, so we're just using su space minus, and we can go through and put in our password. And let's clear the screen and give some space at the top to work with. And we're going to go through and run yum install minus yes, just so we're not prompted, and sysstat as our package. Don't forget the two S's right in the middle. So this then should just go through without pausing for me to accept it. But we've of course got to download from the repository, so just allowing the system to think about it for a little bit. Now with this installed, there's a little bit of configuration that will have already taken place. So if we go through, first of all, if I cat a scheduled task, so we're going to look at the /etc/cron .d. So this is an extension directory for the cron daemon, and the cron daemon looks at scheduling tasks on a regular basis. We'll see more on scheduling jobs and using cron ourselves later on within this course. And then go through and look at the sysstat file. So this was added in during the installation. And what we're looking at here is every 10 minutes we're going to then run our activity collection tool, and we'll be storing information so we can then generate daily reports. And the daily report then is generated at 11:53 in the evening. So you can see we've got these scripts SA1 and SA2. We don't need to go through and worry about running these scripts, but they're scheduled to run, as we can see, every 10 minutes and then once a day just before midnight. We can adjust what is collected and how it's collected by looking at the file cat /, and we'll go through into etc, and this time we're going into sysconfig, and then again sysstat. So when we look through here, we can see how many log files that we're keeping. So if it's greater than 28, then we kind of roll into another month. So in which case it's going to create it in subdirectories, so we have a subdirectory for each month. We're going to be compressing our log files after 31 days, and we can see some of the options that are going to be used. I'm just leaving all of this at the defaults. Now we also need to go through and start and enable the service. With this, we're going to run the SA1 script when the system starts up to log the startup information. So we're going to go through and start our service now, so we can go through and run system ctl and start sysstat, and then go through and enable it just to make sure that it runs on startup. We can go through and look at the status subcommand to systemctl just to see really what is happening here. And we can see then a little bit of a description of the service, so resets our system activity logs, so we can then go through and see the data that we've got. and the basic information that goes into the logs. And we can see that this is really just running our SA1 script with some additional flags. Let's just clear out of this. So we've seen then the basic setup and installation of sysstat. We now need to learn a little bit more about how we use it. So we're going to look at some of these basic tools that are included within the package. And they're similar to vmstat, which we saw before from our proc ps package. But we're going to be looking at things like mpstat to read our processor information, and we can read disk information from iostat.